Okay, I think I just started recording this. Here's my camera. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong screen. I am in my office today. It is Wednesday, February 5th at it's going to be 11 a.m. I wanted to set this collaborate session up to go over percentages. It is it is the single most important topic in this class, but it's also something that people really struggle with, especially when the problems get more complicated. So let's see, it's 10:59. What I'm going to do today, just so you'll know, I'm going to use our book. Okay, I have printed the book. I'm on page 18 of the actual textbook. I talked about this last time I did a collaborate session, but sometimes there's a discrepancy in the page number on the physical textbook and what BibliU reads it as at the bottom. But it starts with exercises 1 through 10. So if you don't see that on page 18, just kind of go a couple pages forward on BibliU. Someone this week said that they wanted a physical copy of the textbook. And only one person mentioned that, but I thought it was something good to address. You have several options. You can go to BibliU, and which is linked on our Moodle page, and you can order a paper copy of this textbook. The reason I would steer you away from that is that this textbook, we only use a small portion of the textbook, very small portion. So, I mean, I'm looking right here. There are about 450 pages in the textbook, and we're going to use about maybe 150. So I would kind of steer you away from purchasing the entire textbook. I have been told that you can find a PDF file for this book online for free. You would then have to print it yourself, but that might be a cheaper option. You would need to go on the internet and search for the name of our book. I don't know if y'all can see this, but it's Math and Society, and the man's name is David Lippman. So you might can find that as a PDF online and just print out sections as you need them. And then the only other option that I know of is that in BibliU, you can download up to 24 pages of this textbook. So if you have a page that you find that you really, really want, maybe you want to print the exercises out because you need to see them, then just download that one page. But that kind of covers some options for your textbook. It is an online resource, but at the same time, you signed up for an online class. So it's a tricky situation. I too like a piece of paper. As you can see, I have my copy right here. I cannot look at a computer screen and do a collaborate and solve the problems and operate my calculator. So I totally understand. But those are just your options if you want to purchase your book. Okay, let's see if I can share my white screen. Okay, so if you watch my first collaborate, I am not an expert at this, so bear with me. I saw last time I had a couple like technological goofs, but anyway, what we're going to do, let's start. We're going to start on page, my pen's not working. Uh-oh. Well, last time I just clicked here and I was able to change my pen color, but that does not seem to be working today. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to pause this recording and see if I can figure out this pen situation. Hold on just 1 second. This is not where I had the problems last week, so I apologize. Oh my goodness, now my cursor's gone. Try to unplug my pad and try to plug it back in to see what happens. Okay, let's take a pause. Hold on just 1 second. It's just not, it's not registering like, I mean, I did it last week, every day we have an option, I have no problem, I tried to restart it. So, should I activate it? What should I do? I'll do it, no. I'll try it one more time. I'll see if anybody's in the shower, probably got this before I. Yeah, they might not. It's, yeah, okay, thank you. Hey, I want to collaborate, and I plugged my little pad in. I did this 2 weeks ago, no problem, and it's not letting me write on the pad. It's not, like, when I click the pen icon, it's just, like, not recognizing it. I mean, is there any kind of, will you please look at this and tell me what, I mean, I did this 2 weeks ago and I had no problem. So I got my little collaborate going.
Yeah.
And when I try to go and like grab the pen.
Click on it.
With this?
Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be glitching out like that.
I know.
Click that down arrow. Nothing's happening.
Mm-mm. See that, you can see that something's there. Like
yeah,
when I pop
glitching.
it, but it's not letting me do it.
That's a technical thing. Close out. Is anybody on there with you?
No.
I would close out and go back in.
As in here?
I'd close the whole thing.
Do I need to stop? Like, I think I already paused it.
You can stop recording.
This is.
Yes, and just stop the recording. I just go out of Collaborate completely. And if they say
Not working. Okay, I want to share my video. I don't know what that's doing.
yeah, something's not.
Share my blank.
Now see if do you see it click then? See if it'll take it now.
Mm-mm.
There's something wrong with the pen. You
All
see
right.
it?
Yeah, I see exactly.
Yeah, that's a technical.
Like, you think it's a pen? I mean, it's just use
I don't
the
think
pen.
it's the pen. You have to set it to be able to start writing right there. I do.
Right. I do
It
too.
won't even
And like
let
I said,
you-
last time I didn't have any problems, but today
I
it's
can
just
tell
like,
you go to do you have your email pulled up?
No.
Pull up your
Should I close this?
No. Go to share your screen. See if you can work around it.
Here?
One up. Oh, do it again. It's I was gonna say you go to Microsoft Whiteboard and you can write on that.
Yeah.
And they can see it if you share the screen, but it's not even letting you share the screen.
So
you want to let Caitlin know that something's
okay, that's
up.
what Dr.
Yeah.
Adams told me to call Caitlin, but I was
My
trying
problem's
to.
totally different. Now I've copied my class over and I was trying to go in there to change a date on something. And I was just going through my Moodle and I was just going into the homework assignment. You know, you got your question, teacher preview, and then it comes up settings and questions at the top. Now I go to my settings right there and I go right in and I can change. Now it says you're not a teacher. You're not listed as a teacher. Jesus, I can't even get back into my open math.
I know Holly had issues. Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome. But, I mean,
Holly had issues and couldn't get changing her dates, but I changed my dates in my open math. I don't try to change my dates in Moodle.
Well, my thing was I used the same class and just rolled it over. So
Jill, thank you.
Yeah, I was just gonna tell her, don't worry, it's okay. Now it's all good. Now fix my problem, okay? My problem is, like, it says I'm not a teacher anymore.
That I don't know. And like I told somebody with
Because I just copied, imported my class like that. I didn't go in there and rebuild it in my open math. You see what I'm saying? I just copied it over, and then I went on each individual setting and changed my settings like that.
That's what I did too.
Gotta call me and scratch my head. Now it tells me I'm not a teacher. Is it working good now?
Let's see.
You're not plugged in. Okay, good.
Okay, that would help.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, let's see. See if it's working before.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Close my door, please.
I will. You're good to go now.
Thank you.
Don't you worry. And so it was just whole folder was open, and it was just touching the key, and it just. Have you had that happen on my section? No. I'm just trying to find. Anyway, it's okay. It's all good.
Okay. I see one. I'm sorry, Shauna, Amy. I have had issues with my Collaborate this morning, but I think I'm good to go now. So let me get started. Let's make sure I'm recording. Yeah, I think I'm recording. And I went over a blurb about the book. Okay, so since I've already wasted your time, I'm going to start on page 18, number 1. What happened is I had laid my book down and it was touching a button on my keyboard, and then the pen would not come up. So let's go to a whiteboard. Let's share a whiteboard. Let me send that one student a message and tell her that I'm sorry I'm back on. Okay, I sent that student a message. All right, let's start. We're on page 18. Let's go to black. And I'm going to start with number 1. It says, out of 230 racers who started the marathon, 212 completed the race, 14 gave up, and 4 were disqualified. What percentage did not complete? Okay, so did not complete the marathon. Well, we're going to use part over whole equals percent over 100. Okay, the part that did not complete the race was 14 gave up and 4 were disqualified. So this wording is tricky, but it says what percentage did not complete. I'm going to say 14. Honestly, I need to check the answer in the back of the book. The 4, it's interesting because my son just ran a marathon last fall. The 4 that were disqualified, I'm assuming they completed the race. They were just disqualified. The whole number of people in the race, the total number of people in the race was 230, and we want to know what percentage that is out of 100. So my part is the part that did not complete it. That's 14 people. I'm not going to include the ones that were disqualified because I think that's a different issue. I solved these by cross multiplying. And so let's see. 14 times 100 is 1400. 230 times x is 230x. Divide both sides by 230. Divide both sides by 230. And I've got my calculator. Let's see. 1400. Oh, wow. 1400 divided by 230 is 6.0869, and it continues. Now let's see if the book tells you how to round. It does not specify. I probably would go 2 decimal places here. So if we look at this 8, that 6 is going to tell us to bump up. So it would be 6.09%. Now, to be honest, I should have done these before we got online, but let me see if I can find the answer to that in the back of the book. Okay, so the book includes those who were disqualified. Let me write this down. Now, honestly, like I said, my son just ran a marathon in October. Those who were disqualified, I don't think that they can, to me, they completed the race. They were just disqualified. So that means 14 plus 4 is going to be 18 who did not finish. All right, so that'll be 18 over 230 equals x over 100. We're going to cross multiply the same way we did. So go across. That's going to be 1800 equals 230x divided by 230, divide by 230, and x is we're getting 7.8260. Again, we'll go 2 decimal places. So what we're going to do is look at that 6. Again, this is going to round that up. So we've got 7.83%. And checking in the back of the book says 7.8%. Let me say this about the book. The book is not linked in any way, shape, or form to My Open Math. So the questions that you see in the book are not going to be directly aligned. So in other words, you're not going to see this question in My Open Math because the book and My Open Math are separate. But these are the ones who they say did not complete the race. I thought it was just 14, but again. All right, let's go to, I have to clear this out. I haven't figured out a way to erase, so I'm going to delete that. And we're going to start over. And we're going to do page 18. And we're going to do number 2. Okay, Patrick left an $8 tip on a $50 restaurant bill. What percent tip is that? Okay, again, this is a very, very, very popular question. Part over whole equals percent over 100. The part is the tip. The whole bill was $50. And we want to know what percentage that is over 100. I just went out to eat dinner with my parents last night. And my mom gave my dad the bill and told him to calculate the tip. He's much more mathematical than she is. And so he told her exactly how much to leave. So it's 800 equals 50x. Divide by 50, divide by 50. We know that this will go in there evenly because we know well, this is kind of a rule for division, but 100 is divisible by 50. So therefore, 800 is also divisible by 50. It goes in there 16 times. So the answer is 16%. That is a nice percent. Good job, tipping. Okay, let's look at number 3. I think I can fit number 3 right here beside number 2. Ireland has a 23% VAT, which is a value-added tax, similar to a sales tax. How much would the VAT on a purchase of a $250 item be? Okay, again, same formula. Part, okay, is the tax, the VAT. We don't know the VAT, but we know the item costs $250. I know that symbol is not dollars, but since we're in America, I'm going to use the dollar symbol. And we are told that that is going to be a 23% tax. Our percentage always goes over 100. We will cross multiply. And we get 100x equals 250 times 23, which is 5,750. Divide by 100, divide by 100, and x equals, rules for division, that's just going to move my decimal 2 places by 100, divide by 100, and x equals, rules for division, that's just going to move my decimal 2 places to the left. So it's going to be 57.50 is your VAT. It does not ask what the entire total is, but if it did, you would add that to the original price of the item, which was $250. Okay, let's look at number 4. We're going to start a new screen. Clear. Again, we're still on page, what is it? Page 18. This is a little bit lengthier problem. Oh, I dropped my calculator. Employees in 2012 paid 4.2% of their gross wages towards Social Security, while employers paid another 6.2%. How much will someone earning $45,000 a year pay towards Social Security out of their gross wages? Okay, so let me write down what it says. Employees, I'm going to put EMP, they pay 4.2% of their gross wages towards Social Security, while employers, well, that's hard to abbreviate, pay 6.2%. How much will someone earning $45,000 a year pay towards Social Security out of their gross wages? Okay, I'm assuming it says how much will someone earning $45,000 a year pay towards, so I'm assuming that someone is an employee. And so an employee, we don't know what part they're going to pay, but that employee is going to pay 4.2% on their whole salary, which is $45,000. Again, I am reading this and it says how much will someone, so I'm assuming they're talking about the employee and not the employer. I'm not going to, I mean, this one is the exact same thing I've already done. You're going to cross multiply, and then you will divide by 100. I'm pretty sure, yeah, the answers to the odd are in the back of the book, the evens are not. So let's keep going. I want to try to get through number 10 today. So let's move on to another problem. Number 5 on the same page. A project on Kickstarter.com was aiming to raise $15,000 for a precision coffee press. They ended up with 714 supporters, raising 557% of their goal. How much did they raise? Okay, so well, I don't see where the 714 supporters is significant, but since it's a word problem, I'm going to use part over whole equals the percent over 100. Now this one's, we'll have to read it more carefully. So a project was aiming, their goal, let's write that down, their goal was $15,000. They ended up with 714 supporters and they raised 557% of their goal. So they raised way more than they had anticipated. So the part that they earn, we do not know, okay? But the goal, this is the whole goal, I should put, this is the whole goal, was 15,000. So we'll put 15,000 down here. We don't know what part of that they actually raised. We know they raised 557%. This is a great example of where your percentages can be more than 100. It's rare. I mean, I don't want to say super rare, but typically they're under 100, but a percentage can be more than 100. Okay, we will cross multiply. 100x equals, let's see, that's 15,000. Make sure I'm reading that correctly. Yes, that is correct. Times 557%. And then we'll divide by 100, divide by 100. X equals, okay, this 0 cancels with this 0. And this 0 cancels with this 0. So it's 83550 with a comma. And that's how much money they raised. So they raised way more than they were trying to raise, lots more. The reason it's higher is because 557% is more than 100. So they did more than they expected. The fact that 714 supporters is not used in this problem, or I should say in this answer. Okay, so that's not pertinent to this information. Okay, let's go to another page. Okay, number 6 is kind of the reverse of that. I think I'm going to skip 6 and I want to go to number 7 because this is something that students really struggle with. Again, we're on page 18 and let's look at number 7. All right, this is a percent change, okay? Percent change formula, whether it's increasing or decreasing, you put the absolute change on the top, it's an L, over the original, and then you multiply that by 100. Now the key word here, number 7, it says the population of a town increased from 3,250. Okay, so we had 3,250 in 2008 to 4,300 in 2010. Find the absolute and relative percent increase. So when we hear the word percent increase and also the word absolute, we know to use this formula right here. Okay, so this is the formula that we're going to use. The absolute change is just the difference between these two right here. So you're going to do 4,300 minus 3,250, and this is going to give you the absolute change. You always take the largest number and subtract it from the smallest number. And that's going to be 1,050. All right, back to your formula, 1,050. So that's the answer for the absolute change. The absolute change is 1,050. All right, back to your formula, 1,050. So that's the answer for the absolute change. The absolute change is 1,050. We put that number on top divided by the original. Now you have to read the word problem. We're given dates. So clearly 2008 came before 2010. This is the OG. This is the original in this particular problem. Each problem has a specific reference to where it started. So this is 3,250, and then we're going to multiply that by 100. And we get 32.3076. Now this book, again, this book is not linked to MyAppoMath. This book doesn't talk a lot about how to round, but if I go 2 decimal places, that would be after the 0. I'm going to actually look at that 7 to decide what to do, and that 7 is going to bump that 3 up. So it'll be 32 point, or I think that was a, sorry, that was a 0. That 0 is going to bump up to a 1. So 32.31% is the percent increase. Now, those problems do not get any more complicated than that one right there. Okay. Let me see. That's as hard as that gets, but you have to do that same process over and over and over. If I'm not mistaken, the rest of these through number 10 are similar. So we're going to try several more of these, and then I might just answer some general questions. If you have any questions, you can ask them. So let's start with a new screen, and we're still on page 18. I think I want to change to blue. All right, so let's go to page 18. That was number 7. Let's do number 8. Again, it's the same formula we used previously. It's the absolute change over the original, and then you multiply that by 100. The number of CDs sold in 2010. All right, so 2010, it was 114 million, down from 147 million the previous year. So the previous year would have been 2009. Find the absolute and relative percent decrease. Okay, so to get the absolute change, you take the largest number, which is 147, minus the smaller number, 114, and you subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. So there's a 33 million change. That's the absolute change. For our formula, we put that 33 on the top. You do not have to put all the zeros. And then on the bottom, you have to determine which one is the original. Well, 2009 comes before 2008. So 2009 is our original CD sale. So we'll put 147 million down there, and then we multiply it by 100. Put this in your calculator. And I get 22.45% after I round. Now, how did I know to use that formula? This is important that you know when to use the formula. This formula, in the problem, it says find the percent decrease. It said that word percent decrease. So if I have the word percent decrease, if I have the word percent increase, I know to use this particular formula. Okay. All right, let's try the next one. We're still on page 18, and we are up to number 9. This is a multi-part question. A company wants to decrease their energy use by 15%. So they want to decrease it by 15%. If their electric, okay, part A, so let's do A first. If their electric bill is currently $2,200 a month, what will their bill be if they're successful? Okay, so right now, this is their whole bill. We want to know what the part is if their whole is $2,200 and their goal is to decrease it by 15%. So part over whole equals percent over 100. We'll cross multiply. I'll just put an X in that spot right there for the part. We don't know the part, so we'll put an X. So 100x equals, let's see, 2,200 times 15 is 33,000. Divide by 100, divide by 100, and x is, okay, this 0 cancels with this 0 cancels with this one. So we've got $330. Now that's not the answer to the problem. It says if they're successful, what will their bill be? So they started out at $2,200. They just decreased it by $330. So their final bill, the answer to part A, 2,200 minus 330 is $1,870. That's part A. Part B, now this kind of is similar to some things I've seen on MyBmath, even though, like I said, this textbook and MyBmath are not connected. So part B, if their bill is $1,700 a month, were they successful? And the answer is yes, because 1,700 is less than their goal. Because remember, their goal was 1,860. And if they get it than their goal, because remember, their goal was 1,860. And if they get it down to 1,700, they did great. Okay. I think the last one I want to do is 10. I did skip some at the front, so I could go over some of those that I skipped. Let me just look through the book right quick and see if there's anything else I want to do. Any other percentages that I see. Okay, I don't see anything else. We'll do number 10, and then I might go back and do some of those that we missed. We'll see what time it is. All right, so we're on, if you're just joining us, we're on page 18. And I'm going to do number 10. A store is hoping an advertising campaign will increase their number of customers by 30%. Okay, so they want to increase their customers by 30%. They currently have about 80 customers now. A, how many customers will they have if their campaign is successful? All right, part is what they want to increase. The whole right now is 80. We can't have a whole more than what they have. They only have 80 customers, so that's their whole base of customers. We always put our percentage over 100, and then we will cross multiply. Again, if you don't know your part, just put an X right there. And we have 100x equals 80 times 30. 8 times 3 is 24. Add your two zeros. Divide by 100. Divide by 100. And x equals 24 new customers. Now, that's not the answer to the question. They would have the 80 that they started with plus, because they're increasing, 24 new. So they would have 140 total customers. That's the answer to part A. And part B, if they increase to 120 customers, were they successful? Yes, because 120 is more customers than their goal. I know I'm writing sloppy. Their goal was 104, so 120 is 16 more than that, so they were successful. Okay. I think what I want to do now, because I don't recall doing one in this particular section that you were solving for the whole. I think the ones that I did, if I'm not mistaken, you were solving for the part. So I think what I want to do is make one up. Whoops, sorry. So let's make one up. Let's just make something up. Let's see what we want to do. 13 students in 10th grade took the SAT. This is 24% of the sophomore, that's another word for 10th grade, class. How many, sorry, get some water. Okay, so I made this up simply because I don't recall seeing one where we had to solve for the whole. So 13 students in 10th grade took the SAT. Maybe the other ones took the PSAT. Maybe they took the ASVAB. Who knows? This is 24% of the sophomore class. How many students are in 10th grade? So we're going to use our formula, part over whole equals the percent over 100. Okay. Part of the students took the SAT. Okay. What part? 13. This is just part of the class. This is the part that took the SAT. Everybody did not take it, but a part of the class did. So our part is 13. We do not know how many students are in 10th grade. We do not know how many students are in the whole class. This is the whole class right here, and we don't know that. So we're going to put an X down here where the whole would be. And then we put our percentage, which is 24. And again, I made this up, so it's probably going to be a decimal. And then we will cross multiply. Okay, 13 times 100 and 24 times X. So we have 1300 equals 24X. Divide by 24. Divide by 24. Let's see. We're getting 166 repeating. Now, we have to think about what we're talking about. We're talking about human beings, and you can't have a decimal of a person. So we're going to round here to the nearest whole number because we're talking about people. We're going to round to the nearest whole person. And since that 54 is followed by 1, that's going to stay at 54 total people in 10th grade. All right, like I said, in 10th grade. All right, like I said, I made that one up, and you are solving for the whole. I want to do one more, and then we'll probably be about towards the end of our time. And this is something that you're absolutely going to see on Math and Math. You're going to see it on your test, but it is that famous Indigo Depot problem. And there's other names for it, but if I say Indigo Depot, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. So Indigo Depot has a, let's say, a skirt for $48. It is on sale for, let's say, 15% off, plus an additional 10% for card holders, let's say. If you have an Indigo Depot card, how much will the skirt be? Now, this comes up over and over and over and over and over. You're going to have to do two percentages. The first one that we want to do is the general sale. Everybody that comes in is going to get 15% off. But if you have a card, you're going to get an additional 10% if you have a card. So this is going to be calculated second, and it's only going to be calculated for card holders. So what we have to do, we're going to do part over whole. The whole skirt costs $48, and your first discount is 15% off. So let's see what that skirt will be after we take 15% off. 100x equals, let's see, 720 divided by 100 divided by 100, x equals $7.20. Now, this is not the cost of the skirt. This is the sale. So what we have to do is we have to take the skirt, which was $48. We have to subtract the sale, which is $7.20. So if the skirt was $48 and we take off $7.20, the new price is $40.80. Okay, this is the new price. But if you have a card, you get an additional 10% off of that. So let's do the additional. We do the same thing, part over. Now your new price is $40.80, and you're going to get an extra 10% off of that skirt. Only card holders. So this is the situation for card holders. Let me go over here in orange. This is the situation for the people that just get the sale. So if you just get the sale, your skirt is going to be $40.80. That's how much your skirt's going to be if you get the sale. But if you have a card holder, you're getting an additional discount. So let's see, we're going to cross multiply. 100x equals 408.0 divided by 100 divided by 100, x equals 4.08. And this is going to be your extra amount off. Now, it's off of this price right here. So we've got $40.80 minus $4.08. And this is going to be the final ticket price if you have the card, which we do. We're going to pretend like we have the card. So your skirt ends up being $36.72. Okay, I'm going to pause there. I feel like I talked myself to death. But this is a really, really, really good overview. If you will watch my first Collaborate and put it together with this Collaborate, that covers everything in these first 3 weeks. So maybe you're behind, Maybe you didn't understand, ratios, percents, and proportions. That was my first Collaborate session. Maybe you struggled some on percentages. This is my second Collaborate session. So if you will watch these two Collaborates, I have covered everything we've studied thus far. Okay. Again, I'm going to pause. If you have any questions, please pose it in the chat. If you have any comments, you can post them in the chat. Last week, somebody asked a question about the textbook. She was having a problem finding the answers in the textbook, and also, I can't remember her other question, but if you have a question, just post it in the chat box. Okay, I am going to stop this session. So again, if you'll watch this session, in addition to my previous session, you'll have kind of an overview of everything we've studied in the past 3 weeks. So thanks for joining, and I'll see y'all soon.